Howdy all. Okay, here we go again. I wanted to touch on, I made a video the other day, the lone wolf versus the group, as far as the prepping, okay? And I wanted to kind of expound on that because that was just kind of an overview. Let me see if I can bring this closer. I'm trying not to shout too much. All the neighborhood people are out trying to enjoy a nice, beautiful day here. So, well, now I'm on a slant, and you guys don't want that. You don't want to have to look sideways at me. Oh yeah, perfection. Just good. Okay. Anyway, your lone wolf versus the group. Okay. Somebody did put a comment on it, and I thank you. I can't remember your name, but you had talked about coming to kill all the farmers and stuff, and that's a very, very good point. He was talking about the revolution in Russia, 100 years ago. Study your history, guys. Okay, study your history. What's the saying? Those that don't study history are doomed to repeat it. Okay. Yeah, look at your history, and not just here in America, but look at the different times throughout history where there have been upheaval, there's been issues, there's been problems. See how the governing body handled it, see how the people handled it, and that will give you an idea. I know that a lot of people say, well, that was way back then. We're much more civilized now. We're no, guys, we're the same. We're people, okay? People today are talking about how kids are always on their tablets and their iPhones and they need to get out and play in the dirt. Dude, if you had tablets and iPhones and PlayStations when you were that age, you were going to be on them too, okay? They are a product of their environment, the technology of the time. That's still not to say that just let them keep their face in the phone all day long. Get them out and make them get dirty. But anyway, people are people are people. Doesn't matter time, doesn't matter area. I say all the time that we are a product of our environment. We are a product of our raising. We are a product of all of the experiences we've had in life. Yeah, if I had been raised in California by a professor at Berkeley, and so, yeah, I would probably be one of the left-leaning, got to get rid of the guns, and so I thank God that I was born to the family and the area and the time that I was, but we are a product of our environment, product of our raising, product of our experiences. Okay, so getting off that, back to what we're talking about. Yes, study your history if you want an idea of what certain things are going to look like. Okay, powerful people are always going to want power and more power. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Okay, people in power want to keep power. They don't care about your rights. They don't care about all that stuff. That's why politicians, they do things because they want to get elected again, not because this is what their constituents want. You guys know that as well as I do. They are not voting this way or that way because it's good for the people. No, it's because their advisors told them, hey, you'll get a couple extra points in the polls if you do this. That's why it's politics annoy me. Okay, I still vote. Okay. But at the end of the day, politicians are politicians, guys. Not what our founders intended on. Our founders were farmers and shopkeepers, and whenever Congress was in session, they would leave their shops. They would go. They would discuss things. If they needed to pass laws, whatever, they would do that, and then they would go back to their shops and their farms. That was not intended to be a career, and unfortunately, our politicians today, that's what they are. They are career politicians. Okay, they are going to tell you what you want to hear, and that's it. Sorry, I get off on tangents. uh, but anyway, your lone wolf versus, yeah, we're 5 minutes in. We haven't even talked about what the video is about. Uh, lone wolf versus your group. Many reasons, in my opinion, that you need that group, guys. You can't know everything about everything. Okay. We kind of fancy ourselves preppers. You know, we kind of fancy ourselves as, yep, I can fix this, and I can grow this, and I can, you know, I know how to do canning, and I can make soap, and I can do this and that, and all those things are awesome. You absolutely need them. Learn as much as you can. But at the end, oh, ice cream truck man, yeah, ice cream man. Anyway, uh, you're going to need those things, but I much rather have a ER doctor, ER nurse, even a general practitioner, okay, if I'm injured, than a mechanic. It's like, oh yeah, dude, I took first aid and I read a bunch of books on it. You know, great, do that. But when I'm injured, I'd much rather have that doc, that nurse, working on me than the mechanic. Okay, and that's where that group comes in. On the reverse of that, you got a vehicle broke down. Yeah, you want that mechanic working on the car. You don't want that ER doctor. He might have a pretty good idea. You know, he works on his own vehicles, and that's awesome. But I want that specialized skill working that specialized problem. Okay. And for those of you that are thinking, well, it's like I'm not even having to worry about that because I'm just going to be in the woods. We talked about the other day, game's not going to be there. All of the people that aren't prepared, that's where they're heading, guys. Okay, that's safe in the woods. There's nobody there. Out in the country, that's where all the food is. Okay, that's where people are going. How many will actually make it that far, and how many will survive a couple, I don't know, a couple months? Okay, now that's a whole nother conversation. Um, but that's what everybody's thinking. I'm just going to head for the woods, head for the hills, head for the country. Um, so as far as that, yeah, you're going to have company in that national forest that you're thinking about. Okay. So you're going to need people for the specialized skills. It is nice to have that location where everybody's going to be scoped out. You know what the area around you is like. You know the people in the area. So you kind of know what you're walking into. If you're thinking, well, I'm just going to head for the old national park, it's got a couple thousand acres. Do you know that area? Do you know where this is and that is and all that other stuff? Do you have a structure in place? And even at that, it's like if you're there by yourself, who's going to watch when you're trying to sleep? You know, even for those of you, it's like, well, I'll have my family with me. And okay, you got a small group. Okay, but are you going to rely on your 12-year-old daughter to pull guard duty? Are you going to rely on your wife to pull guard duty? You're not going to get any rest because you're going to be freaked out the whole time. To whereas the opposite of that, if you've got some ex-military, if you've got ex-law enforcement, and they're on guard duty that night, you're going to sleep a lot better. Okay. So think about that. So you're able to sleep now. Well, sorry, you're able to get better rest. I'll say that. If you're thinking about just going to the hills, you probably don't have your Posturepedic waiting and ready for you there. Okay. Well, I like my hammock. Yeah, I like hammock too, and it's great for a night or two. But what happens after about a month of that, and you've been through rainstorms or snowstorms or It's been nicked up, dinged, it's starting to rip. So having a location in a group, guys, I'm just saying, you really need that. You really need those skills compared to that lone wolf mentality. Um, you'll have better, you'll have specialized care for whatever you need it for. You're going to have that ability to kind of come down a couple notches, off your alert status, because you have people that are out there on guard now. You're going to have that just that peace of mind knowing that we have people here that can take up the slack of just everyday survival. Okay, it's not dependent solely on you. Okay, and me being a father and a husband, um, to think of me taking my family out into a situation like that, yeah, okay, we could probably hang for a little while. But the mental stress that I'm going to go, if I can talk, mental stress I'm going to go through, mental stress of my family, um, uh, for doing just that, the lone wolf or just your small group, your family, uh, it's going to take its toll. Um, so think on that a little bit. Uh, I said, tell me your thoughts. There's a lot that it goes in depth, guys. Like I said, yeah, let's say you do have that community, you do have that group, but you're situated in between L.A. and San Francisco or something. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you got your group, you got that, but there's just people everywhere. Talk about population density, okay? There's just people everywhere, even in the group setting like that. It's going to be tough. I know I'm getting off tangent here, but that group is gonna draw attention unless you're able to get back up in the hills somewhere. The size of that group is going to draw attention. So for you lone wolfers out there, maybe that's one of your arguments is we can keep a lower profile and kind of fly under the radar. To some degrees, yes, you can, and for a certain amount of time, yes, you can. But like with anything else, it's like, what are you going to do when one of your kids has a accident? Maybe they got a broke leg or a broke arm, and now you might be able to set it, and you've done it before, you've learned about it, you've studied on it, but still they're going to be out of action now for a while, and your wife, her time is spent taking care of the kids. So now the people that could help you out, once again, they're going down. Where if you got that group, if you lose one or two, it's going to hurt, but it's not going to hurt to the point of just that family setting. Um, so your location comes into it a lot, and once again, that's another video for another time. Um, but yeah, if you got that location back away and you've got that group, I'm not saying it's all going to be sunshine and rainbows, but it's going to be easier. You got Group A on security, you got Group A on firewood, you got Group B preparing the meals for everybody. It just, did I say Group B twice? I probably did. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. But you've got these different groups performing different tasks. It's like, and the amount of tasks that are going to be needed is, it's almost undescribable. I mean, you got to have security, you got to have food, you got to have sanitation, you got to have your medical, you got to have procuring resources, you got your firewood, all that other stuff. And to leave that up to just a small group of people or yourself, it's going to be tough. And on the flip, with less people, you require less resources. Yes, and I understand that too. Um, but there's going to be a lot that goes into it. So I'll quit rambling here and let you guys kind of go ahead and comment and tell us what you think and what your suggestions are. What is your ideal? Yeah, that's a good one. What is your ideal either group or community, or your ideal lone wolf scenario? That'll be a pretty good one to see what everybody's thinking out there. Uh, and yeah, comment that down, and maybe we can have a discussion on that at a later date. But anyway, till next time, guys, I bid you adieu and talk to you after a while.